Hey guys,
Hey Rishi.
Hello.
good to see you guys. Thanks for doing this with me and coming on Zoom and doing this little talk of sharing your experiences. Nowadays, that I'm into getting a lot of my clients share their experiences so that other people can probably get motivated, inspired. And I think your story is pretty inspirational. So, guys, I have Rachit and Deepa with me today. And both of them I met very recently, as recent as a few months back. I think Feb or March. We were
Yeah.
at
Just before the lockdown kicked in, yeah.
Just exactly when you could meet people.
exactly. In fact, I was supposed to wait for my third biopsy, and I was like, doc, I have to go for this program. It's going to be next day if I miss it. So he said, okay, go. So he actually let me off 1 month earlier. And then we met at Rajasthan, Sardar Sheher Learning Societies and Conference, which is great. I love going for that program. And I actually was totally impressed with you, Rachit, because for me, whenever the CAA would come up, it was such a controversial thing. I would talk to people and say, guys, have you guys read it? No, 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 we have not read it. अच्छा, because I have tried to read it, मेरे को कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. I asked, I saw, because I said, before I even have a freaking opinion about CAA, you have Sadhguru on one end, people going anti-Sadhguru, and I thought he made a lot of sense, but I was like, now what the heck? Let me do my own investigation. So I was dying to meet somebody who's read it. And you said, yeah, Rishi, I've read it. I said, okay, let's talk to you. And then there was a fabulous conversation that went on for what, like maybe an hour or maybe more, I think.
Longer, yeah.
Much longer than that. And it was a fabulous conversation. And I remember saving your number on my phone, Rachit, LSUC, CAA. so that was great. And then I think when we came back, I posted this message on LSUC group saying that in this lockdown, we came back and the lockdown happened. So then I posted a message saying that I want to do a free website, make your website in 1 hour training program on Zoom and stuff like that. And I got like over 900 odd registrations for that. I was like, whoa, I've never hit more than 200 registrations. This 900 was like a phenomenal jump, and a lot of people forwarded it like, man, and you guys showed up for that. And actually, I had saved your number, and I forgot that Deepa's I didn't even register her name. I did save her number. I didn't. So I get this message from Deepa saying, I'm Deepa, I want to attend your program. I say, yeah, sure. I had no idea y'all were the same couple that I met until you called me later. So, but I want to backtrack a little bit before we get into the website and you guys making a website. We'll tell everybody to go take a look at your website. But I wanted to first go back and just understand your journey on this business that you guys started and now finally created the website. You guys, how long have you guys known each other? Since when? I mean,
So we are college sweethearts, and then we got married, and he has always been with his family business. I was working with Deloitte. Somewhere down the road, we said, the Gujarati gene in him said that, let's do business. Yeah, you're not meant for working. And we said, okay. Incidentally, it so happened that around the same time, we wanted to pick up a cake for a loved one on their birthday. And we said, we couldn't think of where to go because all the other normal stores that we could think of are not the kind of cakes we like. And the only good cakes that we could think of were all in the 5 stars. And then we thought that, there is a white space in this market and there are not as many players who are doing a good job. Like generally either their cakes are dry or they're, not up to the mark. So we said, there is a white space. Why don't we, agar business karna hai, so let's try this. And then eventually it just happened to fall into place. We had a consultant on board from London who came around the same time and we met around the same time. And things eventually, when things are supposed to happen, they happen. And that's how Caketree was born within 3 months of us not finding the right cake for the person we wanted.
wow, that fast. And you guys don't have a background of business in this industry.
No, both of us are not, trained chefs or in the cooking space. Both of us are foodies, so we understand food greatly. We can differentiate between good, bad, and good and very good and good and very good and excellent. So we have that expertise, but and I think that was what was needed, and that's what kind of helped us understand and get the right product and get the right team on board. And then it was a professional team that is working and dishing out all the product.
I just want to add to this. A lot of times people dismiss us that, you guys are not bakers yourself, So, tum to business karne aaya ho, sort of thing. But it's different. We are passionate about our business, to also passionate about our product and food as much. If you come to our kitchen, Rishi, you will notice Rachit, especially when he's fine-tuning recipes, he fine-tunes them to 1 gram. नहीं ये 3 grams so and so के साथ हमने ये बनाया नहीं 2.5 gram करो, try it with 3.2 also, and then he will try all those 3-4 variations and he will fine tune that, which is not something that everybody does, and which is what makes that difference in the end.
Nice.
The tiny little mile that you go makes a lot of difference in your final product.
So I'm thinking more and more when I'm hearing stories like yours, training and all of that, some out of the window. I mean, at the end of the day, passion is all that matters. If you're driven with something, no amount of formal education in that area will really work. I mean, it all depends on what you want. So you shouldn't really waste so much time in school and college and all.
Absolutely. And it is what, once you are, you have interest into something, the way you would pursue it is greatly different. And you would get to the bottom of the thing. You will kind of scratch everything here and there, look up the entire internet, and to get that one thing right. So I think it all boils down to that, and that's what even in LSUC also the entire basic idea is that you do what you love, do what you are passionate about, and the entire education space also is very, very the conventional education specifically is just there to make people to kind of work in offices and factories and stuff of that sort. So if you want to really do something, you don't need to have formal education. You can just pursue what you like, and you will kind of excel in whatever you do.
Correct. So I think the whole chase behind a certificate or a degree, that all is immaterial, not required. But education and self-driven education.
Self-driven learning. When you want to learn, we cracked the website in barely any time because the pressing need of the hour was there, and we really, really wanted to do it. Right. Of course, I cannot deny how much, how easy you made it for us.
No, in fact, that's great. So you said that you told me you guys already were planning to do website a while back. So so when you started this cake business almost a decade ago, you actually went with the retail, rent out a place and then get a kitchen and all of that style, right? Online was not how you guys started. Online was later. So tell me, moving from, what was the idea to go online? If it was prior COVID or it was because COVID came, it just rushed into it. Give us a little background into that.
So basically when we started out 10 years back, we had started out with brick and mortar stores. So we had physical store locations, retail outlets on the high streets. And that's how the business was. We were looking at going online sometime. And we were actually preparing for that for some time. But at times, we didn't want, we wanted a good site. And when we used to kind of get in touch with people to make that beautiful, good site, the kind of costs that we used to get, the quotations used to be really prohibitive. So we always wanted to do that, but we kind of, for some reason or the other, had to push it. And
next month we'll make the work.
Yeah. Next month, next year, next quarter. So that's how it kind of kept happening. But I think this entire COVID-19 kind of changed the scheme of things. The entire environment changed, and we said that, okay, now we don't have an option. We will have to do it. And within that entire scheme of things, I think you're announcing that one webinar one workshop, one webinar, which, you know, the title only was amazing. Make your website in 1 hour. Now, you know, what else can you ask for? Make your website in 1 hour. And yeah, so that's where we kind of really got excited, and we said, okay, both of us have to attend this. I remember registering for it, and even, you know, when whatever the time, I think it was 11 o'clock or something, we logged in at about 5 to 11 or 10 to 11, and there was no space on Zoom. So we had to actually watch you on the YouTube link.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how crazy it was.
Wow. Amazing. So you guys were not able to interact with me because you guys were on YouTube. Y'all couldn't ask questions at that time.
Couldn't do. We could just receive, not ask anything. Yeah.
Yeah, because the YouTube chat, I think, is too much. I mean, in fact, just generally in the webinars, chat is too much because it keeps going. You know, I cannot keep track of it. Whereas the Zoom has also a Q&A option for me to look at one at a time, and it just properly queues it up. But okay, so that's interesting. So then you guys, I think in that webinar itself, I think a lot of people started asking questions where they said, you know, can you show us, can we make an e-commerce website, right? And that's like one query, two queries. There's a lot of people start asking that question, and I was thinking maybe we should do it. And so I had not planned to do that. I had to like now actually get it done. You know, like, okay, let's figure out a training program. Within 5 to 10 minutes, they got to see how to make a website. And I started preparing. I opened out the registration because I do need time for people to register and then see the number of people coming in and questions. And one of the questions I think I asked was, would you like me to use your products to display on and make your website during the webinar itself? And many people said yes. And very few people sent me photos, and your photos came. And at that time, I did not know, you know, that y'all were a couple. So I'm seeing these photographs from Deepa, and I'm like, oh, these are pretty good because all the other photographs are crap, total crap. So I was like, okay, these photos are good. Maybe we're going to use her photos. I just got to fix them a little bit, like in terms of go to Canva and fix them, things like that. So that's when we got chatting. And then once you guys attended the e-commerce webinar, which I think was a bit of a surprise for us, actually. We were like, you know, I think we practiced on a certain version of WooCommerce, and the day of the webinar, they switched to the next version. So I was a little lost at the time. I'm going to make that video again. But we somehow managed. And what's interesting is that even though the webinar went with a new version of WooCommerce, which I was not prepared for, you guys still created the website because you all got all the information that you had to actually start the e-commerce website. Now, tell me more about when you guys got started. How much time did it actually take? Because I know you were asking me questions on WhatsApp, because we give the free space on the server for 30 days. We give free questions on WhatsApp. And at some point, you guys wanted to speak to us and do a call. So tell me more about that experience, if you can just share about how much time did it actually take you to make the website?
I think from the day we started, it took us about 10 or 12 days to eventually go live. But that is only because we were juggling, I mean, a lot of other things alongside. But when we started doing things, you know, the way you shown us in the webinar, there were places where we got stuck. The most primary thing was, luckily, we were ready with the content. And we were ready with the pictures, the most important things. And apart from, what do you need to do make a website? You need to have your, you know, content, you need to have your pictures, and you need to have somebody to do the site for you. Or you are doing that, the technology part. Now, with both these things ready, we were left with only that. With whatever you taught us, we moved, you know, a mile. But there were places where we were stuck. And we didn't have as much time, or it didn't make sense to us to wait. Especially when we really wanted to go live so badly. So then we decided to schedule a call with you. I think the call was not more than, you know, 2 hours, in which we chatted far more than we actually did work. But in that 2-hour call, you know, you knocked off things so easily. And after we, you know, the call was over, within, I think by that evening, you and Harshit, you know, ticked off all those points where we were stuck with giving us screenshots about how to go up, how to actually do this. So it's just that you all weren't using your fingers and doing it for us, but you all were making sure that we were, given the skills to do it ourselves.
Yeah, you were not fishing for us, you taught us how to fish. So.
Precisely.
Yeah.
In fact, when I used to first start the workshop way back in 2013-14, that was one of my slides, If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And so you're using the statement that I used to use.
No, that's true, because in various areas where we were getting stuck, I remember you guys, so something with the product, and we had about 40 and 14 to about 80 products to be put up. And you used to teach us only for one product how to do this thing, whether it is variations or attributes and various other things. And then we used to replicate that for the other 79. So that was nice. Then we also got a hang of how things are, and you used to teach us one thing, and then it used to kind of already, we used to learn a few other things as well in the process.
Yeah.
So it was a great learning experience, and it was great to be independent and doing it. So even now, whenever we need to make changes, we know we are in control. We know that we can do it, whatever it be. So that's, that feeling of being in control is fantastic.
I remember, so we had recently, then it was Father's Day last Sunday, and we wanted to have another page about the specials that we're doing for Father's Day, apart from whatever regular we're doing. And had it been, and it struck us also, as always, normally it strikes people not too early. And had it been somebody else whom I had to tell and I had to delegate this work to or get it outsourced, it would have meant transferring my ideas to that person actually sending me something, me liking, not liking it, asking for changes. It wouldn't have happened in such a short span. But now that we are skilled to do that ourselves, we did it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically you're saying the website itself got done in how many days? Although you said 12 days went by, but actual number of hours working at it is 2 hours in one day, 2 hours another day. Total time was how many hours?
I'd say about 15 hours.
15 hours. Okay, great. This is good, because actually one of the things
and also because you're struggling, because you are figuring things. You started out without using a mouse, simple things like that. And then you realize, maybe I need a mouse, and a lot of these things. But otherwise, you can do it far faster.
Right. So I think one of the things that I try to educate my customers on is to get self-reliant and do it on their own. Of course, I understand that some people say, look, I have the money. I want to spend my time doing something else, and they're willing to cough it up. That's a perfectly fine option. But most of the times, people are on a startup mode. Their probably budget is constrained, and so they don't want to spend. And we actually worked out the package with Harshit, and we've kind of come up with two plans. Like one is $500,000 and the other one is 1 lakh model. And it's still scoped out. You can't do everything in that. We try to give a lot of unlimited options, but there is a finite loop in that. It cannot go on forever. So we figured out that this is what it's going to cost. And so even when you got quotes from other vendors in the past, we also tried to figure out with the payment gateway and all those things, the Excel file preparation of that data and all of that stuff. So what I like is that you guys take out the effort to learn, and I think if everybody does that part, they can be. And I think the Western culture is like that. People in Europe and US and Canada and all these places, they take out the time. They don't have expertise in technology. They're willing to learn. They're willing to pay to learn, to get into the course, take some expertise, but they're willing to take charge. I think in India, I still feel a majority, I would say 70 to 80% is still more like, hey, yaar, tu karke de de, like you do the damn thing. And what I found very interesting, both me and Harshit were impressed after every call we did with you. It's like, you guys are like Western thinking, like, seekha na, let's pay the money, learn, and then do it ourselves. And that I think is really, really nice. Not many of my customers do that. People ask me, Rishi, you've got this free website. Kitne log banate hai? I said, actually speaking, out of 100 people who come, maybe 3 or 4, maximum 5 people will actually make it. And you're one of those stars, by the way. But I think the website looks lovely. The photographs, everything is so nice. And that's why I wanted to do this call with you guys, because I wanted to let people know and announce your website to to my audience, you know. And by the way, I would just want to tell everybody, go take a look at this website that they have done. Both Rachit and Deepa have done. It's called caketree.in, not .com, .in. Caketree.in. Please check it out. And I've ordered some of the cakes too, because when I started helping you guys with the website, my mouth was watering. I'm like, I want this stuff. There's this chocolate roast almond one is terrific. The one more almonds in it. That's a really good one, guys. I'm telling you, that one is the best, and very close to that. And I was probably at par. I like the Baileys because I myself like Baileys. You know, the Irish cream Baileys. And for me, those two were just super. I even like the mango one a lot. And there was one more I tried. I'm not able to get the name. I can't get it. But anyway, I put my reviews there, guys. So in your e-commerce website, after only people who place orders can actually give reviews.
Yeah, we realize that. Yeah.
So great, guys. So I want everybody to check out caketree.in. And if you are wondering if you can make a website and whether it's doable, well, yes, Rachit and Deepa, they are like, you know, people who are not from tech background, but they use computers, they use phones, and they made the effort to make a fabulous website. And they've got fabulous products. So please try it out. You deliver only to Bombay right now, correct?
Yeah, so we are currently delivering all across Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, and Thane.
Okay.
So the entire region is covered, and you can directly get on the website and do it yourself. The entire booking process, you put in your address, delivery address, and it will show you the relevant delivery charge, and you can pay online with the payment gateway sorted and stuff. So it's you don't need to talk to anyone. If in case you need, there's a WhatsApp chat option on the website itself. So if you get stuck anywhere, or if you have any queries with regards to flavors or sizes or anything, you can just click on that button and get a live chat option.
Right. In fact, that's another thing. Earlier, y'all were in the lockdown period, y'all started doing the orders on WhatsApp, and that became a real challenge because then the back and forth is really high, right? I mean, it's energy gets drained in that process. Whereas when you have it all laid out, like the way you guys have the half kg, the 1 kg, and the custom, when do you want to deliver, the message on the thing, it's all there, right? I mean, it's all out of the box. It just works. That's really great. So I think that's good. So now tell me one thing. I want to know, you said earlier when I spoke to you that you have the one store in Kandivali and the other one in Barso. I would just to confirm that. Yeah. April 2010, you did Kandivali, and then Versova happened the same time, October. And your kitchen is actually in Goregaon.
That's true. Yeah.
And you guys stay in Matunga.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you guys are up north in that direction, probably because cost of rent is lower than in Matunga. It would have been much more expensive to have it. So tell me, what's the story on the retail stores today, and what's the story in the website, and where are we heading? Where's the future for Caketree? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the stores, we currently have, we had 4 retail sales points. So one was the Kandivali East store, we had the Versova store, that was the second one that we set up. Then we had another store in the Kandivali West area near Mahavir Nagar. And the Goregaon Central Kitchen also used to develop as a sale point. So we had all of these 4 sale points. Right now in this post-COVID scenario, things are a little sketchy. So as of right now, the way things are, we are allowed only to operate on alternate days. And that also only up to 5 p.m. currently. So it's not very conducive. Most of the cake sales happen in the evening. Plus people are not really stepping down in the current scenario. People don't want to step down to buy a cake. You know, it's really too fancy. It's not one of the necessities that you would want to still kind of come out of the house and buy. So we are not seeing a lot of walk-ins coming in, and we are looking at an option where if you know, to drive a lot of traffic on the website. So even our current customers that we have, or if we have any walk-ins coming in, we kind of tell them that, you know, why don't you guys just standing in the store, log in from your phone, just log on to the website and book it right there. You can see how easy the process is. First time, it's a little bit of, you have to feed in a little bit of information and data, but that's only for the first time. And second time when you come in, it's like within a 60-second window. If you know what you want to buy, you can place your order, check out, make the payment, and you're done. So we kind of encouraging our customers to use the website more and more, because that gives us a lot of flexibility, and in terms of not having the retail locations at all, possibly in the future.
Oh, wait a second. You're saying
purely on the cloud.
So that means that also reduces that much cost, right? I mean, you've got people at the store selling, you've got the store rent cost and air conditioning and electricity bills, all that gone.
That's true. So it's a major because the overheads are tremendously high. In a city like Mumbai, to have a retail, as in the commercial premises, are extremely expensive. Then the other overheads that come associated with it, the electricity bills and the other miscellaneous costs and all, greatly high. So possibly if we can do without them, and we will still retain the staff and kind of realign them to other positions in the company. But if the other two major costs of rent and electricity are knocked off, that will be kind of, and especially now in this post-COVID scenario where everything is pretty challenging, as in the sales are down and there is a lot of strain on the business overall. Survival is the key. So I think that this model will help us survive and live through.
Well, I'm hoping it actually stays through, not just through. Keep going. But tell me one thing I'd like to add. I want to understand, because this is one of the big challenges that most people face. What's the scene on logistics? Because that's one thing y'all only had to worry about. Yeah, Goregaon's first order kaise karna hai Goregaon? That is the person who's delivering. The distributor has to deliver the material to you.
Yeah.
But once you make the cake there in the kitchen, then from there kind of move it to the stores. There's a controlled delivery mechanism here. Now you got to make it in Goregaon, but deliver all over the place. So tell us more about how you overcome those challenges, and where are we today, and how is that expensive? Is that affordable? Are there organizations that you can just push a button and they become available? Are you doing credit card? Are you doing cash on delivery? How does that delivery work? What's that? What's your plan? Talk to us about that.
Cool. So as of right now, talking about the payment options on the website, we've just gone ahead online right now with the prepaid option. So we have this InstaMojo payment gateway that we've kind of installed. Again, extremely easy and quick plug-in, quick fix, and we got done and up and running with it in, the entire installation process was not even 30 minutes. And then submitting documents and doing all of that took us a little bit of, 2 or 3 days time for it to go up and running. But yeah, so right now we're going ahead with the prepaid options, not currently doing COD, because again, in this COVID scenario, just to be able to do a contactless delivery, lesser exchange of money or, exchange of anything for that matter, is easier, better. So prepaid, and there is lesser things to, keep control on. And yeah, so that's on the payment a bit. Currently, we're not offering the COD option. In the future, maybe we may. And on the delivery bit, yeah, it was far easier earlier because we were very defined delivering to our own locations. And then from there on, the customers used to come in to the store and pick up, or the store staff used to do the hyperlocal delivery there in the neighborhood there, near the store. Now we are kind of delivering all across Mumbai, Navi Mumbai and Thane, so the entire geography is pretty huge. It is definitely a challenge. We are dealing with a fresh product. A cake is a little bit of a sensitive product, so to say. So
but I have to say something here. Everywhere, including my wife, because we're in different houses. She's with the kids in that house. I'm with my parents in this house, and I ordered the cake for her. She said that's one of the things she said. It came in perfect condition. It was like, there's no touching of this. How did you guys do that? You have to tell me more about this delivery.
Well, it is a challenge, Rishi, because unlike, like the Swiggy boys and all those others out there, like they're used to taking biryani, dump it in their bags and go. But this is a cake. So it is a very delicate being. It needs a lot of care. It needs to be held in a certain way. It needs to be delivered in a certain way. And especially when we are trying to do in COVID times, like we train our delivery boy specifically that, please leave the cake and then step behind, so that even when you're, telling the person this is a gift for you from so-and-so, at least you're 1 meter away, 2 meters away, all those. And these boys keep changing. It is a big challenge, and a lot of our energy, is drained only in this process. But the good thing for us that this is the only thing right now that we have to focus, because now as we move all this, customers to our website, there, the headache of handling the store is also reduced to that extent. But we tried a lot of these third-party delivery people, and now we've come to consensus that we need to have our own delivery team, because that's the only way that we can, manage this smoothly.
I see. So basically, you got people on board, employees, they're on salary, that way. So,
also, our current store staff had to be retained, right? So they also then, we did not want to sack anybody for sure, even though we're shutting the stores. So now how do we bring them into the team? So somebody's doing accounting, somebody's doing, delivery.
But are they willing to do delivery? I mean, they were probably sales guys earlier, and how does that work?
So they were doing hyper-local deliveries. Now they're doing super local deliveries. But yeah, times are such that everybody's doing things. The great thing is that our team for the last 10 years has been intact, Rishi.
Wow.
Really blessed.
That's
super blessed. Because our team, like all our core members have been with us for 10 years, 8 years if at the least. So, which is phenomenal. And then now that they're family, we cannot, there is no way that we are leaving them right now stranded. So we're trying to accommodate everybody, and everybody understands that we now need to play all roles.
Terrific. That's very inspirational, because a lot of times business owners especially like, hey, yaar, apne bach gaya to yaar, baki ka bhi dekhna padega. But you guys are like, no, let's protect them. They have family members. That's really nice to hear. That's good to know that. This has been a fabulous conversation. I mean, I don't know, but did you want to add something else? Because I'm out of questions. I just want to know, maybe connect with you back in 6 months to find out how things are doing, and probably do a round two of this conversation to see where it's taken forward. I don't know if I probably missed out on something, or you might want to share something else that maybe
I want to share something. Yeah. And I want to genuinely tell people that, if you really want to build your website, please just log on to this one site. Everything else these guys will do for you, unless, you can't help yourself after that, because they've already made a very beautiful dashboard, a very beautiful structure where you can learn things on your own. In case you are stuck, there is a number, call that number, and the byproduct of the whole thing is you have two beautiful friends at the end of it. Harshit and Rishi are wonderful people you want to be connected with all through your life, for all other things as well. And they will, guide you, handhold you through things. Of course, you have to do walk the mile. They're going to, show you the way. But if you're ready to do that, websitetraining.in is the place.
Thank you so much. That's like
it is definitely a great website. And plus, it gives you that flexibility for 30 days to try out anything that you want to. You don't even want to make a website, but you just want to have some random idea in mind, and you want to just try and play around with the software and try a few things and all. So you have the video tutorial, you have the actual access to the dashboard, and to kind of, it's like a game. Go and play and build something, and if you like it, go
it's
ahead.
Yours.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Harshit is always in the background. He's like, in fact, one of his sayings on one of his Twitter or some account he had written there, so that you don't always have to be in the front. I can do wonders at the back also. And he's one of those shy guys, and he's never there in front. But I'm sure when he watches this video, he'll be very happy to hear what you guys said. Thank you so much for that. Really. So great. I think we've got a lot of information to share with people, and I really thank you for taking out the time this morning. I'm sure you guys have lots of cake to deliver. So I'll let you guys get to that, and let's share this with everybody, including I'm going to share it with the LSUC group so that they also see what you guys are doing.
They must know that just bumping into strangers at LSUC actually leads to such wonderful
fabulous. Great. We should tell Manish Jain that.
relationships.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
Rishi.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Love to Harshit.
Yes.